Yeah, so thanks for doing this. We're back at I'm in a Car, and the last one I did was in Mexico a couple days ago.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
It's a little colder here.
It is a stark contrast.
Yeah.
So yeah, just arrived at 2 o'clock in the morning this morning, and now I'm in a car with Michael Bennett. So thanks for doing this. Michael's with the Lifestyle Real Estate team, part of the LePage Royal City Realty. And stoked to do this. So thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome. It's great. Thanks for having me, and welcome back to the cold Ontario winter.
Yeah, it's great. It's
and
crazy.
some snow.
Yeah, which is nice, actually. I'm a big fan. If it's going to be cold, I want to see some snow. This is great. Okay, cool. So in true I'm in a Car fashion, maybe you could give us like the 1 minute or 2 minute synopsis of Michael Bennett and where you've been, what you've been up to, and what you're up to these days.
So born and raised in Guelph, spent 26 and a half years of my career at the Guelph Mercury. And then when it closed, I was presented the opportunity from David Halls to consider a career in real estate. It was a natural transition as I looked after the real estate section of the Guelph Mercury for most of those years at Mercury.
Oh, cool.
And David approached me as my friend and sort of went from there.
Awesome.
So
that was the best summary introduction I've ever had on I'm in a Car.
Thanks.
That's great.
I've done elevator pitches a lot.
So, and that kind of like also is the reason for us to be here. We were talking around a boardroom table, and Michael said, "Hey, it'd be really cool to do an I'm in a Car around the Merc, because it was just over a year ago."
2 years ago.
Or sorry, 2 years ago, around this time.
Yeah.
That we lost our daily paper.
Yeah.
And you kind of had this really cool perspective being there for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Seeing it at its height, seeing it evolve, and then seeing it, gone.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people in the community are wondering, like, what happened? So maybe you can kind of walk us through it from your perspective as best you can.
So a lot of speculation on what the actual root cause of it is. The media landscape's changing around the world.
Yeah.
If you want to blame the internet, a lot of people are. The reality is, I've always felt that the newspaper management sort of, at one point, probably as the internet was coming into evolution, kind of forgot what their product was. And they thought they were selling newspapers. Really, they were selling access to news.
That's a really neat concept.
And it didn't matter what medium people got it. And the newspapers started giving it away for free. And it's pretty hard to come back from giving something away for free.
Right.
So, the reality is our community's lost a huge tool that keeps our city balanced.
Yeah, so that was interesting. You mentioned that, like, the daily paper, kind of one of its responsibilities is to like create this dialogue and be kind of the checks and balances of the community. So can you help us understand, like, what do you mean by that?
So something as simple as reporting on, the very current news, accidents, crime, the things that, everybody turned to a newspaper for.
Right.
When you go to, Facebook or the various sources that we get news from nowadays, you don't know the legitimacy of it.
Right.
Where when with the daily newspaper, and don't get me wrong, the Tribune does a great job with quite limited resources. Your daily newspaper, because it was 6 editions a week, is very current.
Right.
You almost got to be a part of the news as it changed as a reader.
Right.
But we had a news team, even at the end of 6 or 7 people that their job was to make sure that they had multiple sources for things, so that you knew that it had been checked for legitimacy.
It was credible.
Yeah, there was an editor that asked the hard questions of the journalists to make sure that things were the right thing to cover and the right news going to the paper.
And above board. Yeah, that's cool.
And whether it was political discussions, which everybody knows, and I was often on a different view of some of the journalists, but those political views were meant to create dialogue in the community, so people talked about things. Right.
Yeah, man, it makes sense though, right? Like, you need some sort of people-led. Hey, what's going on there? What's going on there? What's actually the truth here? And we really not at that level have it anymore.
No, we have social media, which can have great dialogue, but a lot of times that dialogue becomes very inflamed very quickly if it's a hot topic.
Yeah, big time.
It's not it's almost like there was a gentleness to the newspaper, even though it was quite harsh at times.
Right.
Because there was a filter.
And it's pro.
Yeah, it's professional.
Well, it's interesting too because yesterday I'm coming back and checking out the snowmobile trails. So I live out in Fergus, and so on Facebook there's a group, and one person had mentioned the gates were open and the trails were open, but on the OFSC website it was red. So the administrator of the page is like, "No, guys, that's the groomer. Let them go. Like, don't post this stuff. People are gonna get excited." And then people just started like harping on this person, right? It inflamed, like, and it was nothing, like it was crazy.
In reality, it happened in a newspaper world with letters to the editor. Letters to the editor were the original Facebook dialogue.
Yeah,
it was just moderated so that hate and all the things that come into that we hear a lot of on Facebook groups just didn't happen because that sort of stuff was filtered.
Yeah, that's cool. So then, one quick idea I'd love to get back to, this idea of kind of knowing the business you're in, and that maybe the newspapers lost their way with regard to what they were selling. And, the idea of selling newspapers versus selling access to information and news. I think that's really brilliant. It's a very simple idea, but I think a lot of people miss it. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think a lot of people that are watching this, I'm not sure if you've taken the time to ask yourself, what business am I in? And at Intrigue, we had a bit of a thought process around this. We read this little book. It's called Marketing Myopia.
Okay.
And it's a tiny little purple book from the Business School of Harvard School of Business.
Yeah.
And it was all these case studies and examples of all these businesses that missed the mark. So it was all about the trains thought that they were in the train business, like train owners thought they were in the train business, they didn't realize they were in the transportation business.
Yeah.
And then they went and got crushed by cars.
Yeah.
Kodak thought they were in the film business, but they were in the memory business. And when digital came around, they missed it.
Automotive sector is going through it right now.
Yeah, right.
It's about to change dramatically.
It's crazy.
And what's and I think part of it is looking forward and going, what's a sector going to look like in 15, 20 years?
Right. Yeah, and I think if we understand our core business, it doesn't matter. We'll get it right because we'll always be looking at the right thing. And I think for Intrigue, we realized that because we were selling the video ad network, those TVs. Now we're into websites and social media and helping with Google and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we're in the business of attention, and specifically the right attention for our clients.
Yeah.
And I think if we stay that focused, we'll be good.
So from somebody who sat through 3 sessions with you guys now, both with the Lifestyle Real Estate team as well as with the Guelph and District Home Builders Association, what you guys really do is you help people get to the target they set. Right. So in your meetings,
that's cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. But
I did not ask you to do this.
It's one of the observations that I made that is, and it comes back to your question actually. But so you guys help people steer themselves to where they need to be and where they've already told you they want to be.
Right.
So as a realtor now, which is I've observed the industry for 25 years.
Right.
And
stewarded it at some level.
Yeah, and helped people market homes and help people adapt to changing ways of marketing homes and changing landscapes. But now I'm actually doing it. And one of the things that I've always recognized is really what we do when we're doing our job well is we help people reach their goals.
Cool.
Right? So is that going to change in the next 10 years, how we do it? 100%. And I hope it does, because I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's our job, is helping people find the home that's right for them at that right time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And just for the record, when we were in one of those sessions, Michael came up with this idea for helping support their sellers. I was like, where the heck did that come from? It was amazing. I won't say it right now.
Yeah, no, that was a bit of a digital play that came from just having watched the marketing world change over the last 5 years especially. So, 3 years before the Mercury closed, it was changing dramatically as what our clients were looking for, and what as people selling newspaper advertising, the one thing that we were up against the most was the the accountability and the
ROI?
Yeah, well, and well, not necessarily ROI.
Okay.
The ROI was there, but you couldn't measure it.
Right. Well, that's the perceived ROI.
Yeah, the measurability. So the play that we had actually talked about that sort of took everybody to stop was truly about delivering a measurable for our clients and showing them how things are working.
Which is beautiful, because I think you took an idea that's been in real estate forever, and just acknowledged it instead of fighting it, and then apply the tools available today to address it, which is super cool.
And not to give away what it is, but one of the things that we always know is neighborhoods and whatnot are, people move into neighborhoods and people look for homes because they've already been in that neighborhood, they already know somebody in that neighborhood.
Sure.
So as one of the things that particular program, which hopefully we'll be launching at some point this year, will actually help let the homeowner help us market their home by appealing to all of their friends. And people who have been to their house and been to their neighborhood and whatnot, so that everybody who says, I've always wanted to live on your street, knows about your home really quickly.
That's cool.
So it's really cool.
So then tell us, the Merc closed 2 years ago, almost to the day, like 2 years, a week or 2 years, 2 weeks ago. What happened? Where did everybody go?
So I obviously, because of David Halls, David approached me.
God bless him too. And if you haven't seen David Halls live in a car, it's great. Just search it.
It is, and David's a lot better on camera than I am, so which is awesome.
I don't know. You're doing a great job.
I have better hair than him. So
low blow.
Oh yeah, you got to get that one in on David.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Anyhow, we had a few of us got together for beverages on the anniversary 2 weeks ago, and it's really cool because everybody that really wanted to take the next step in their careers has done really well. A couple are still in media locally. A few people have gone on to Trib and the KW Record.
Yeah, okay.
One person's actually fixing appliances, which is really cool.
So they found their calling.
Yeah, and having talked to him, he came out last week and he was really happy. So yeah, and everybody I've stayed in touch with has been seems to be doing pretty well, which is awesome. And
at
the end of the day, that's what you want.
Well, I think a lot of people were concerned, right, with this local institution closing, and then all these people that invested so much of their career and their lives into it. So it's nice to hear that people have landed where they should.
Yeah. And as much as the community misses the Mercury, and they had I think it was Don Matheson organized this Hug the Mercury night
awesome.
the day before our last edition.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty emotional time for all of us. Like it was a rough week.
Yeah.
But it was also a week full of highs. Like we had a great week of making sure our last edition was awesome.
Cool.
And
kind of go out with a bang.
Exactly. And I think everybody took that and took it as a leapfrog to the next step in life. So it's great.
So if you were to go back and tell yourself as starting off a career something that you know now that you wish you had known then, what would it be?
Probably would have gotten more education, only because in hindsight in a career, the courses that you could have taken could have gone a long way in helping.
Yeah, okay.
I think in the newspaper world, when we started giving the newspaper the news away for free, in hindsight, I should have objected more. Not like I was a small voice, but
sure.
In hindsight, that was our product as a newspaper.
And so then, for everybody, and it doesn't matter if they're a newspaper or not, but just the idea, if you believe in something, when something's not going the way you think it's supposed to, make sure people hear about it.
Yeah, stand up for it. And the other thing too is that a lot of people have asked me, why didn't I become a realtor sooner? Having been in the industry for 25 years, and when the time's right, things work out. That's the one thing that I have always believed, and it does always work out.
Okay, so then would you mind getting tactical with us? Any tip for someone? I mean, okay, so Guelph Marketplace.
Yeah.
I'm under the impression that we're looking like we're going to repeat we did 2017. Like low inventory, going to be a lot of offers at the beginning of the season, or is it a little bit different?
So low inventory and strong buyer demand is still there.
Yeah.
I'm finding consumers to be a little bit more cautious because of 2017.
Right. So consumers mean buyers?
Buyers they don't want to play the competition game.
Right.
I'm hearing more and more, I'll wait, and if there's no offers, then we'll talk. So people just don't want to get into that frenzy and the emotional roller coaster that multiple offers brings.
Yeah, well, I remember last year there was people that I had talked to that put in offers on like 7 or 8 houses.
Yeah.
And it's just nothing.
Yeah, so when you think about it, if you've got, in cases we were talking about places that had 10 offers.
Yeah.
If you have 10 offers, there's one realtor calling their client saying, congratulations, you just paid $100,000 more for a house, which in some cases those houses were worth that.
Sure.
In a lot of cases they were. But there's 9 realtors that are calling their clients going,
We're still looking.
we're going looking for homes again tonight. So it's not
crazy.
It's not a fun environment for anybody, for the realtors, for the buyers, and even the anxiety for the sellers of, what is my home worth? And now it's a little bit more balanced. We can have better conversations with people, and the buyer has the opportunity to take their time and make the right decision.
So if someone's looking to sell their house in 2018, what's something they should consider if they're doing it around this region?
Call Lifestyle Real Estate Team first.
Nice.
Gotta say that.
Yeah.
Preferably me from Lifestyle Real Estate Team, but any of us. And really, the thing you want to do is have good conversations about what your motivations are, and listen to your realtor when they give you tips and suggestions on things to get your house ready. Whether it's cleaning or the decluttering that we talk about a lot.
Yep.
Something that's really simple that doesn't always happen is shovel your walkway and your driveway, because when people pull up, if your home's inviting, if it's easy to walk to the front door, they get a happier feeling when they walk through the front door.
Simple.
Yeah, it's really simple.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Often the best ideas are.
100%.
Thanks for doing this.
Listen, thank you. It's awesome. It's been fun. So,
Yeah, okay, cool.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
See you.